I know I always say that I'm looking forward to who I have as a guest. However, today is exceptional because this woman, I was reading her bio last night. I'm like, holy cow, this woman is so young and accomplished so much and been through so much that I couldn't wait to talk to her. And we've spent the last 10 minutes or so, maybe almost 15 minutes, chatting about her life and why she's doing what she's doing. And I'm absolutely blown away. And so I want all of you who are here to grab a drink, relax, and just welcome in this guest and listen openly to what she is going to share with us, because I have a feeling there is going to be a lot of ahas and eye-opening that goes on, because today we are talking with truly one of the most interesting and highly acclaimed women who is not much over 30, if even 30. And she's making a profound impact in the gaming industry. So, for those of you who have kids, this is very relevant. For those of you who are in tech, this is very relevant. For those of you who are interested in world affairs, this is also relevant for you, because Dana, I'm going to have her pronounce her last name in a minute. Dana's a Ukrainian ex-military veteran. She's a Forbes 30 under 30 in Europe. She's here in San Francisco. She graduated from Stanford University Graduate School of Business. She's also a serial award-winning entrepreneur and investor. Remember, she's under 30 or just 30. A speaker and mentor at Kiev School of Economics. She is the founder of Nika Text Plus, which is a top 250 Forbes Ukraine business, which brings in 30 million annual recurring revenue. And most recently, she's the founder and CEO of a company called GameTree. It's a gaming social platform with over a $20 million valuation. Amazing. Dana, please pronounce your last name for us.
It's Sydorenko. It's very challenging for Americans, but it's very typical in Ukraine.
I didn't want to butcher that, but you are incredible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I need you to talk about your journey and why you have started GameTree and what led you to that. So if you can just give us a bit of a background on your experience in gaming and then how it got you to where you are now.
Yeah, of course. So I was a gamer since I remember myself, and gaming was always something like the most fun memories, the best way of spending time. And then age of 18, I went to serve the Ukrainian Army and got into war because that was a period when Crimea got occupied. So after that year experience as a paramedic on the front line, I felt very isolated and depressed. And I thought I can go online and find support and friends online and find my community and feel safe. But not just there was no community and friends. Gaming changed in a way that it becomes super toxic. And very often I faced more harassment, toxicity, and it made me feel even more lonely. And it went to the point when I almost stopped playing games. But instead, me and my co-founder, we decided to start GameTree and created algorithm that would combine all our knowledge. So we spent like 1,000 hours on game theory, social behavior, psychologies, watching people playing with each other, analyzing gamer behavior, what's the reason behind of toxicity in games. And we come up with an algorithm that meant to solve this problem and meant to make games social again and create a safe space for everyone, including kids, including female gamers, including LGBTQ plus people, make it fun again.
Yeah. And obviously, you've been through profound experiences, but the world also went through the the P word, right? Or the C word. And children are more than ever are experiencing loneliness and isolation and depression. And I love how you brought to light how gaming was what you thought would be the outlet for you to connect with other people and have a positive experience and not feel so isolated. So the fact that you are creating or that you've created this platform where people can go and it is safe and they can get out of gaming what we all should be hoping for, right? Is amazing.
Yes. So games, it's truly a remarkable space. It's not just like an industry. It's like third world where children nowadays have their own life. This is like something that not didn't exist back in the day in the way how we would see it. And make it safe, make it social. I think it's more than it's like our responsibility. It's in a way our duty to them to show that it's uh, it's safe. It's the way how they can live better life, not worse.
I think connection is such an important thing, right?
Yeah, loneliness nowadays, it's a big problem. So what internet did and what we didn't thought about it that deep is that internet allow you to have more people in your life, to stay in touch with your friends from like all over the world, but at the same time it's make you disconnected in a way from people who right now around you. And our brain not really evolved in the way that we see people who we talking online as real conversation. And that's one of the biggest reasons why kids, and there's statistics that kids nowadays spend twice much time communicating with people online than in real life. And if they communicate with like anonymous people without meaningful social connections over there, it's eventually going to make them feel more lonely and more isolated.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to shift a little bit because you have this other little business called Nika Text
Yeah.
Plus, which is that military uniforms? Talk to us about that business.
Yeah, so this was when I get back from army for a long time, I wasn't able to find fit to society back, and I couldn't find a job. I didn't feel like applicable to anything. So the only solution was starting my own things. So I started one, it didn't work. I started another, didn't work. And this was like third one I started, and that was creating uniform and equipment for government, for army. It was something that I was very familiar with from inside. So I started this business. It was pretty challenging because B2B and B2G is very different from typical business. So it was difficult, but over time, we find very strong need and we did a great job and it kept growing. It's still one of the biggest army supplier in Ukraine. I'm still owner the business because again, back in the day, you cannot really find investment that easily for this kind of businesses. So it was bootstrapping. So I still own like 100% of the company. Challenging, but also this experience taught me a lot, taught me resilience, taught me problem solving, taught me how to find a common language with different people, how to close the deals, how to find compromise between different interests. Very interesting. And also business mindset, I guess in many ways, it's something that missing from a lot of startups and a lot of tech companies. And in a way, when they think about startups, they lacking of analytics, they lacking of calculate every single dollar. They lack of being very specific and precise with every of your spends, how you're going to generate revenue, how you're going to utilize your strong sides. And by being from very like hard world and from very hard business, I think it served well and helped a lot.
Okay, so I'm still blown away, Dana, because I look at you, you're so young. And you talk about, yeah, these people, they don't have the business mindset. But I'm like, you were just out of the military. And so where along the lines did you develop, because you went to Stanford, but that was just recently you
Yeah.
graduated from Stanford. So where along the line did you happen to pick up this business mindset?
It's all come from trauma. It's all come from a lot of mistakes. So I originally started when I started growing my first business, I felt like I don't know anything. Like I felt like wherever book or literature or video you looking for information, but it's all fragmented. You cannot bring it to like one whole picture. And you left with your guess. You left with like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm guessing over here. Like I pick up part from here, I pick up part from here, but it's not applicable for my real situation. I don't have a map. Like I'm just like a blind kitten who like try to find the way. Um, so that was something that I've been struggling for a really long time. And I don't think that from the start I know what I'm doing. It's more like you learning on the process. So a lot of soft skill was developed because I didn't have hard skill. Like
So,
if
okay,
I
so
knew,
and did you get a partner along the way?
not at my first business, I over time I include my sister to help me with this, but she also didn't know what we're doing. Like she was relying on my thoughts and my ideas, and I was just like, very confident, and I'm like, I have no idea, but it looks that we going all right.
Oh my gosh, this is remarkable. So, at what point, you had to go negotiate, I'm guessing.
Exactly. And this is when it's got really crazy because a lot of people who I negotiate with, they've been in business for a long time. They represented from governments, and they usually like 50 years old or like 60 years old, like army generals or like somebody from like very high level in, like some government structure. And then they go like, so, and at that point, I'm like 23 or 24, and they're like, so you are director. And I'm like, yeah.
Yes,
And my
I am.
my first contract, like the woman who assigned the documents, she goes like, "You're not gonna deliver it. Like, I don't believe you." And I'm like, you know what? I gonna deliver in time. I like, and she didn't believe me, so we bet on like bottle of whiskey,
Perfect.
and I won, but she actually never gave me that bottle. Like,
At least you got the contract. Is that right?
yeah, I mean, I always thought that my reputation gonna go in front of me, and from something that I learned from army is that your word equal your reputation. If you say that you're gonna do something, or if you take some responsibility, you need to die, but deliver. And for me, that was one of the rules very early on. It's applied to everyone, to my employees, to my clients. Like I always, if I said something, I took responsibility. It doesn't matter how much it costs me. It doesn't matter if I'll go, um, with some losses. I will deliver what I promised because that's my reputation, and that's what we built very early, very strong. Like we have very good name, and I guess that's big value that we put. And also, like I put my name on it too. So in a way, company reputation is my reputation.
I can completely hear what you're saying, but you were 23 years old
I know,
and you're
right?
still young, and I don't care what country it is. That is, I mean, to go and negotiate that. So that was a woman that you had negotiated. That was the story that you just talked about, but you also talked about male army generals that were 50 or 60 years old. How did you deal with that? Because I can't imagine that each time was pleasant.
No, of course, no. And there's also sexism and ageism. It's very present regardless of the country. And I'm sure that our audience, who's also women, they rely to they feel it very strongly. And I remember early on when I just like started, there was like one of example when I faced sexism and ageism as well, when people just not take you serious. And then I went back home and I called my mom and I'm like, oh, it's so hard. I don't know, can I do this? People not take me serious. Like, mom, how did you manage it? How did you like work with a man and make your, things done? Like, how did you allow to manage it? And she goes like, I just never thought about what they think about my gender. I I proactively choose to not think about it, and like, just going through to my objective. And I'm like, oh, that's helpful to just ignore it. So I start using it. Like, I felt sometimes from the start, when you just came to the conversation, came to the room, you feel weird dynamic, but then you just ignore it, and then you just like going through and proving your value, your what you're worth. And maybe first impression is important, but you can overcome it. And also, it's not like you have like I didn't have a chance. I still don't have a chance. I'm still quite young, and still like when I got into some calls with investor, I feel like it's easier in tech. It's harder in business because business kind of like a little bit more old-fashioned. Well, in tech, it's a lot of there's a lot of young people, so it's easier. But still, it very often feels like people judging you based on your age, which is, I get it. It used to be true. It used to be that, people with age, they more competent, they know more, and probably like me in 10 years, I will be smarter, I will know more and stuff. But also nowadays, internet and access to knowledge and flexibility of your mindset allow you to do things in a different way, to adjust faster, to react faster, to learn things with a speed that never been seen before, especially now with AI. You don't even need to learn anything anymore. You just need to know how to use tools.
That kind of sounds funny, but yeah.
So the hard skill, they kind of like go down in a way, and soft skills become more and more valuable.
So interesting. And your mom sounds like an incredibly smart woman who gave you a great frame of mind, right? So I'm just going to ignore it. And if you don't see it, then it doesn't exist and you just carry on, right? But now you have so much behind you that I don't feel as much of an issue. I can't imagine it's too much of an issue, quite frankly, for you anymore, although I'm sure you experience a lot of challenges in different ways, but you've proven yourself.
Oh, thank you. I guess it's a great way of dealing with the things that you're not actually able to change right now. Uh, I know there's like 100,000 women who still working on like switching and changing perspective from world about women's. But in the moment, the best thing that you can do for yourself is just not take them seriously. It's not take it personally, for example. Just yeah, kind of ignore the attitude and then show what is your worth. And I feel it's a still big problem because a lot of women, they need to like overachieve, they need to overprove their worth. um yeah, so one of the mission that I would like to amplify is I feel very strong about women in tech, women in gaming, and it's still very man dominant niche.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope it's gonna change over time, and slowly, step by step, girls like me, we we changing it. Not just gaming, but in general tech and in general world. It is getting better. It's very slow.
Very slow. However, I don't see you moving slow. You haven't moved slow in these short amount of years that you've been here. And so I have a big fat feeling you are going to make a profound difference. And I look forward to watching that journey. Where can we find more information on you?
My LinkedIn is something that I use quite often, and I post a lot of information that related to women tech and women in gaming. and in general gaming industry. So LinkedIn, I also quite actively posting in our blog on GameTree.me. And yeah.
Okay. Go check her out. Her links are in our show notes, but you need to follow her. Her gaming platform, her social platform for gaming is called GameTree. Go check that out. Make sure you turn kids onto it. And Dana, I look forward to you taking over the world.
Oh, thank you. I will.
To be the best, you need to play with the best. You might not have your own personal high-level circle of women yet, but you can hang with us on the Female Millionaire Show. I'm Midori Verity, serial entrepreneur for over 25 years, and I interview badass female founders and cut through to what you really need to know. So in 20 minutes, you have what can take years to learn. If you're wanting to play bigger, come play with us. Join the female entrepreneur revolution today. Cheers.